over and we start a fight. Never know who's wrong or right. Feel nothing when you go. I know it's not intelligent, drinking for the hell of it, but that's irrelevant now. We should talk about us. How come we're holding on? Cause really I don't see the benefits now. When you've broken my trust, so I just wonder, why do I fall back to you? Really nothing I can do about it. Why do I fall back to you? It's like you're a drug to me, I can't quit. It's not like we're still 22, trying something new, just a pastime. I don't think that we ever could work this out. None of it makes sense, there's no reason why I still fall back to you.
A great way to show yourself self-love is to trust yourself and your own instincts. You're most likely going to know what's best for you, and self-trust is a step to self-love. Now, you need to trust yourself before you can trust others. You also need to love yourself before you can love others. So, listen to your guts and trust how you feel. Welcome to Level Lifted by Omobola Steven.
Again, I should probably let you go. I know I can be cynical, make everything difficult, but it will take a miracle now to fix our problems. How come we're holding on? 'Cause really I don't see the benefits now when you're broken.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Steven. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Steven. Live life. Live fully.
So you want to catch up with missed episodes of my talk show? You can search on live for search Love Well Lived by Omobola Steven on Stitcher, on Backtracks on Podknife, on Himalaya, Podcast Addict, on Google Podcast, on Stitcher, on Josephine, on Amazon Music, on Podchaser, Podcast Addict on YouTube, SoundCloud, or iTunes, or iTunes, or listen to Deezer, Castbox, Radio Public, Player FM, Anchor, and on others.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Steven. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Steven. Live life. Live fully.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Thank you for joining me on today's show today. Now, I have a really amazing guest on my talk show today. You like to meet her, undoubtedly. So I need you to sit back and be inspired.
Omobola Steven, and so I wanted to discuss about what self-acceptance, what love and mindset is about. And that is why I have a guest on my show today. Her name is Laurie Herbers. Now, Laurie Herbers is an empowerment coach and author. Her passion is love and guiding others to love and accept all pieces of self. And that's very important. Laurie Herbers is a great fit for my topic of discussion today's show, which is loving and accepting oneself, a pathway to true happiness and fulfillment. Laurie Herbers has been there. She has a story to talk about, love, self-acceptance, and mindset. So welcome with me on the show today, Laurie Herbers. Laurie Herbers, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. So can you tell us more about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, I'm a single mom, and I basically changed my whole world from hate to love. And now I help guide others inward so that they can live their best life, so they can be authentic and basically heal any wounds or any memories that they're carrying with them.
Brilliant. So, can you tell me your experience with emotional abuse? Did it stem up from your family or in your relationships? How did it come about?
Well, growing up, I was the fourth child, and my dad only really wanted two, but the first two were girls, and so they tried one more because he really wanted a boy. And so they had their boy, and they weren't supposed to have another one. But along came me, and so he didn't talk to my mom for 6 months when he found out that she was pregnant, because he didn't want me. And so pretty much every day he was telling me that I wasn't wanted and I was stupid and I was worthless. And so I kind of tried to be perfect, because I thought if I could just be perfect, then maybe he would love me. And then that didn't work, because I was getting straight A's and I was always home when I was supposed to, and I followed every single rule, and that still didn't work. So then I went the other way, and so I just quit trying, because I figured I was stupid. So what was the point? And then even by the time I was a senior in high school, my counselor told me I wasn't smart enough to go to college. And so I believed it, because I'm like, well, I'm dumb. So it fit right in. And so it took me a really long time to go to school. I think if I wouldn't have been so bored, because at that time I was actually doing sheet metal assembly, and it was just really boring to me, because it didn't take I felt like it wasn't taking that much of my brain power. And so I got really bored. And then I finally decided to try taking a class, and I got an A. So, so now I have a master's degree. So, yeah. And then because of that whole mindset of being worthless, that's the kind of people I brought into my life, because you really manifest what you believe. So everyone, relationship wise, were the type of people that would treat me like I was worthless and unwanted and unlovable, because it just kept reconfirming what I already believed. So it wasn't until I decided that I wanted love in my life and realized that it's not something that I get from someone else. It's actually something that comes through myself, that I really changed. And now the people that I meet are more people geared to help lift me up. And they're, people like you that are trying to change help other people change their mindset and realize that just because someone else says something to you doesn't mean we have to allow that to become our own belief. We can decide our own beliefs on our own. So.
Absolutely. I can relate with what you said, because I think it is almost the same experience I had while growing up, because my parents were also separated right from childhood. So I suffered from low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-value, and low self-confidence. So it was a battle for me. And so it also affected my relationships. I had poor decision making. I had, tough time making the right decisions for my life. And as I said, it's just like the law of attraction. What you believe in, you attract. And so that's basically what happened to me also. I attracted the wrong kind of people into my life, and that really take a negative toll in my life. But now, with time, as you said, not until you decide to change, nothing will change. Absolutely. So it came to a point in your life, you decided you don't want, to be a fool again. You don't want to become stupid, until you made up your mind, to change. That was when change happened. That's very important. So having a positive outlook also, and determining to change is very important. Thank you once again, Laurie Herbers, for that. So why is emotional abuse less often talked about compared to physical abuse?
I think because I didn't know, honestly, it wasn't until probably my mid to late 20s that I realized that I was emotionally abused, because it just is so part of your life. You just assume that that's just how everyone talks to people, because, they were always saying that. So therefore, if it's coming from my parent who's supposed to love me unconditionally, so it had to have been true. And I never questioned that it wasn't true until a lot older. I never considered that I was emotionally abused until I was older. It just seems so normal. So it's probably people don't understand that, being told you're stupid and worthless and having hateful things said to you is not normal. It feels normal, but it's not. And so I think that's why people don't say anything, because they just feel like that is true.
That's very deep. So what you're trying to tell me is that the words that our parents said to us, these words, they self-inflicted or others inflicted. Most times, they're always others inflicted. These are the words that have shaped us and shaped our perception towards life and relationships. What do you have to say to that?
Well, there's one thing that I've actually really thought about as parents. Because when we're born, like we come already worthy with everything we need to have an amazing life. And another thing, like having different kinds of gifts, like, they talk about spiritual gifts or being an empath or stuff like that. If your parents don't have it and you do, they don't understand what you're doing. And so they automatically, like for me, they were telling me I was crazy and that I wasn't seeing what I thought I saw, and I wasn't hearing what I thought I heard. And so I don't think that parents mean to do that, but they just don't understand, and therefore they don't have a way to help increase that gift. They stifle it without meaning to.
So what do you think we can do to that? As parents now we understand that, some things have happened or some things we can't change and we have to accept all along. And some things we can change and we have to look for ways to change it. So what are you advising the parents out there, the mothers out there, when training their child, what do you advise?
First of all, I always tell them zero judgment. Because it's really easy to go down that shame spiral and say, oh my gosh, I did that. Well, it's okay to say I did the best with what I knew then, but now that you're learning, now today you can say, okay, well, now I know, then start to learn about that gift, or find someone who has the gift that your child is starting to experience, so that you can get clarity on it, so that you can help them have clarity on it. And plus, I think sometimes it's hard as parents because we always want our children to have more than we had. And so sometimes we might put our own expectations for our life onto them without meaning to. Yeah. And so like with my daughter, like she went into electrical engineering, blew my mind. So I was like, wow, that's what you want to do, do it. But for me, like I told her straight out, like, I don't know anything about electrical engineering, so I'm not gonna be able to help you, but I didn't try to hinder her from it. It's the same thing, it's because when she turned about 12, 13, I really started letting her make her own decisions because she's still at home. So if she makes a mistake and doesn't know how to deal with it, I'm here to help guide her through it instead of waiting for them to be out on their own and then the whole world falls apart and they don't know what to do. So we really, as parents, need to almost be more of a guide than, I don't even know what to say, than like a dictator, like, let them make their own choices so they know how.
That's right. That's tough work.
Yeah.
But it's worth it, really.
Yeah, it really is, because she's amazing and she helps other people now.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So you went in search of love. So I needed to tell me more about that.
Yeah. So with all of us, all of us are made of energy and have a frequency. And it's like I really just started like looking into the whole energy of everything and finally realized that love is a frequency. It's an actual frequency that we can tap into. It's in all things. Like if you just step outside and just look around you, everything you see it came from love. And so as I started to learn that, I mean, the amount of love in the world is ginormous. People just don't see it because they're looking through eyes of distrust and unworthiness or, confusion. And so that's what they think is out there, because like whatever you believe is what you receive. And so as I started to really understand and believe how much love was out there, it was almost like I just kind of like fell. It's like if you're just walking along and I just fell into a pool of water. I just all of a sudden was just standing in this place of like, oh my, wow. It was just huge. Like I felt it. It was the most amazing thing. And it just really inspired me to want to get other people to that place because it's in you. We all come from love. We're all connected in that love. Yeah.
Absolutely. I really get what you said. You said love is a natural frequency. Now that's a payoff. It's a natural frequency. So what you give is what you get. So now the thing is, I was the number one sufferer of emotional abuse, especially in my relationships. It was a know-how battle for me to be set free from it, but now I'm totally free from emotional battle, and I can teach others now to be free. I believe it's a mind thing. Did you share the same idea with me?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you like our minds are so powerful, we don't understand it. And it's almost like whatever we're believing, it's like almost like the energy of what we believe is what forms for us, and it's what we pull in. So I've really been thinking about that lately. So every time even doubt or fear tries to sneak in, I almost feel like I create a bubble. Like I imagine like this fear or this doubt now, I put it in a bubble and I just set it over there. Like I can choose to not allow that thought to keep going. So we can have power over our thoughts instead of our thinking having power over us.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's very critical. We have power over our thoughts. Our thoughts shouldn't have power over us. And that's exactly what I do also. Each time I wake up in the morning, I practice that affirming positive words on a daily basis. I tell myself I have control over my emotions. And that's very important, and it has really worked for me, and even in my relationship. So I agree with the statement. Now, what is your understanding of self-acceptance, and how important is it?
Self-acceptance is so important. I have found, like I used to think, because I remember, because I grew up in Catholic school and church, and the verse that I always thought of, love your neighbor as yourself, I always just assumed that just meant, love everyone. But the thing is, you can't love them more than you love yourself. So if you're feeling like, so all those years I thought I was stupid and I hated myself, I couldn't give anyone else much love because I didn't have it. You can't give what you don't have. And so it really changed my thinking. Like, if I really want to love someone in the way that they deserve to be loved, then I have to already have it in me. So self-worth is super important in just your relationship with self and with anyone else.
That's right. It's very important. Self-acceptance is important. If you can't accept yourself, who will? Nobody will. That's brilliant. So how can someone work on their mindset?
Daily. Somebody asked me that once too, and I was like, no, it's like every single day you have to choose. Like every day, like you said, you wake up in the morning and you decide, what kind of day do I want to have? I want to have a great day. So great days don't just happen. They will, once you get your mindset, and take control of your thinking, you will have amazing days. But the path to get there is one step at a time. But if you think about, if you just take one step every day, in 1 year, we've moved 365 steps. And so you could look back in a year and go, wow, look how far I've come. But you have to choose to take that step every day.
That's right. One step at a time. That's right. It's been lovely to Omobola TV. And on my show today, I have Laurie Herbers. Laurie Herbers is an empowerment coach and a author. Now, her passion is love and guiding others to love and accept all pieces of self. Now, Laurie Herbers, do you have any projects you're working on?
Yeah, I'm actually putting together a free training. I'm almost done with it. And then I've also created a 30-day program called Turn Loving Yourself into a Habit. And after I had some people go through it, and I realized that if they have my kind of background, because it's very condensed, and it does a lot every single day, because it's basically a lesson every single day with homework. And for me, that I want to be able to process it that fast, someone that has a lot of abuse or, trauma in their life. And so I'm going to take that information and I'm going to expand on it. So my plan is to actually put together a program that will last for a year so that it really gets them in there and gives them little step every single day for a year, because it will change their whole life. That's 365 steps.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I wish you best of luck in your project.
Thank you.
So what's your last word or your parting word?
I didn't catch that. Sorry.
I said, what's your last word? What's the parting word? So what's your last words to my listeners?
Oh, I'm sorry. My last words would be, do not let someone else's words become your truth. So, yeah, if someone says something negative to you, you don't have to take it as yours.
That's right. Do not let somebody's word become yours. You need to have the self-power. That's important. So now we're talking about self-acceptance, self-love, and mindset. It's been Laurie Herbers on my show today. Thank you, Laurie Herbers, for coming around on the show. I hope we can do this some other time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much once again. I wish you best of luck always.
You too.
And so I round up with this quote from Glennon Doyle. She said, "This life is mine alone, so I have stopped asking people for directions to places they've never been." So it's Omobola Stevie once again and signing out. I stay safe always. It's bye for now.
You've told me more than once to show you my intention. My brain gets blocked at times, but now somehow I'll give you my attention. You've got to know that I ain't a person who understands all the clockwork